What are you missing? What are you missing? Now, before we begin, I'd like to start with a story. So one day I'm having a conversation with some friends. Normal day, normal conversation. But something strange did happen. And by strange, I just mean different. So as I was hearing them talk, I began listening to their words. And as I was listening to their words, I began noticing my thoughts. And by that, I mean, as opposed to just responding automatically, I was actually seeing the words in my mind that I would use in the conversation. And then I went a step further. I was noticing how I felt. In that moment, I felt myself getting upset. Now, you're probably like, okay, so you knew what you were going to say. You knew how you felt. What's so strange about that? What was different that time, as opposed to all the rest, was that I was consciously aware of what I was experiencing. And that is why today we're going to be talking about awareness. Awareness is the knowledge and understanding that something is happening. For example, right now, I am aware of my surroundings. I'm aware of the phone, the lights, the walls, the camera. I'm aware of everything that's around me. As I'm sure you're probably aware of your phone, your computer, or whatever you're watching me on. I wonder what else is there to watch me on, actually. Anyway, so if awareness is observing something external, what do you think self-awareness is? Yes, observing something internal. The same way you can see the world around you, you can see the world within you. More specifically, your thoughts. Now, the problem is that most people don't know how to do that. Or even worse, they don't know that they can do that. And I know because I was one of them. Let me give you another example. Now I'm almost positive you've read that in your head. Do not sit there out loud and say, great things will happen to me. Or better yet, when you're watching a movie with the subtitles on, I promise you are not speaking along with the characters. And if you are, you got another problem. So what I want to do is call attention to that voice. That voice right there reading the subtitles, I want you to grab that. Because what if I told you that voice is always there? Always talking, and not just when you're reading. In some cases like that, it's very obvious. In others, not so much. Now, what's important is not just noticing what you are thinking, but that you are thinking. And that's the point I'm trying to get at. Being aware of your thoughts. You are constantly engaged in the act of thinking. So what I'd like to offer is that you be consciously aware of that fact that you are thinking. Because when you do, that's the game changer right there. That's when life opens up for you. Because when you're able to be aware of your thoughts as they're happening in real time, you then get to choose what happens next. Now, why is that important? Because the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your thoughts. So let me show you the model. Your thoughts lead to your words. Your words lead to your actions. Your actions lead to your habits. Your habits lead to your character. And your character ultimately leads to your life and your destiny. Let me give you an example so you can see it. Say we have two people. One of them thinks very little of themselves and has low self-esteem. The other thinks highly of themselves and has high levels of self-confidence. Say they both work in sales, they both work in the same company, they both sell the same exact product. The difference? The conversations they have with themselves and others. Person one will have a conversation like this. Man, I'm not sure if I'm ready for this appointment with this client. What if they ask me about this? What do I say about that? They're gonna think X. Person number two will have a conversation like this. Oh, I can't wait till my next meeting. I've done this before. It worked. I can do it again. I know I'm landing this deal. Now say they're both at their appointment or meeting. Person one will act very nervous. He will stutter, hesitate in his words. His body language will probably be hunched over, slouching. He'll have a lot of fidgety movements. Person number two have a more controlled pace. They'll have their head high, shoulders back, speak clearly, speak confidently. Now you can imagine who probably got the deal. So then what happens in the office the next day? Person one, he'll probably do less prospecting, less follow up. He'll probably talk himself out of the appointments. Or on the extreme end, he will stay up all night. He'll be researching more papers, studying his competition. While that in itself is not inherently wrong, the motive behind it is, because it would be coming from a fear based anxiety. Person number two, next day in the office, he's going to remain consistent. He knows what he has to do. He's going to keep setting up his day in line with the actions that he knows he has to take. Say days, weeks, months keep going by like this. You will start to see their character develop. Person one, he will be disconnected, insecure, close-minded, jealous of those doing more sales, envious of others who quote unquote got it easy. He'll stay in a victim mentality. So he's probably going to keep to himself because he doesn't want to feel embarrassed. He'll be distracted at work, procrastinating. Person two will be positive, a grateful, responsible, dependable person. Now imagine what their lives will look like. Person one will be at the bottom of his company in sales value if he hasn't quit or gotten fired. And let's say he was married. His conversations with his wife will be very stressful. He's going to be angry at her because he's angry at work, and so on and so forth. Person number two, he's at the top of his company. He's the top producer. Now, yes, he can also be arrogant and prideful because he let the success get to his head, but let's just say he remained positive. So now he's a supportive person. He's generous with his time, his resources, his money, his influence. He's helping develop new trainers, members in the organization. He's spending time with his wife. He's giving her love, abundance, because he's not, stressed out about work or stressed out about money. So what happened? Two completely different outcomes after they started at the same exact spot. The difference? Their thoughts. Proverbs 23:7 says, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." Let me explain. So this verse was originally written in Hebrew, so it's best understood if it's used in its original and intended language. In this text, the word heart in Hebrew refers to the subconscious mind. So what the author of this text is saying is that whatever is deep within your subconscious mind will show up in your behavior. The only thing that prevents you from getting what you desire is your thought habit. And that's why being aware of your thoughts is so important. Let me give you 3 ways to increase your awareness. Number 1, question everything. When you notice yourself going off on a tangent, ask yourself, why am I feeling this right now? Why am I thinking this right now? For example, in my story, I had that voice in my head ask me a series of questions, starting with, what am I feeling right now? Upset. Why are you upset? Because they didn't want to help me. Why does that upset you? Because it was the first time I needed help and I would always help them. So the awareness of my thoughts helped me to be aware of the relationship. I then got to set boundaries and move accordingly. Number 2, journaling. Putting your thoughts on paper. Regular journaling can help you identify patterns and triggers that affect your emotions and behavior. Number 3, personality tests. They're a great way to gain insight around your strengths, weaknesses, and personality traits. 2 of my personal favorites are the Tony Robbins DISC assessment and the Truity Enneagram test. Yes, you are not defined by a personality test. They are just fun to take and can give you some information. And that's it. Now that you're becoming aware, I leave you with the question, what are you missing?